I went to surprise my wife at lunch, but the restaurant host told me she was already there with another man. So I ordered a bottle of champagne and had it sent to their table. With my lawyer's card. I never imagined my life would take such a turn. For over a decade, my wife, Laura, and I built what I believed was a solid, loving marriage. We had 2 wonderful children, a comfortable home in Houston, Texas, and a bond that seemed unbreakable. Laura worked as a marketing manager for a mid-sized firm, often putting in long hours, while I ran a small but successful IT consultancy from home. Our routines were predictable, but I found comfort in that stability. One Friday morning, while sipping my coffee and scrolling through emails, I noticed the date. It was the anniversary of the day Laura and I first met. Feeling nostalgic and romantic, I decided to surprise her with a lunch date. She had mentioned a new restaurant downtown, Guard and Grace, that she wanted to try. I called to make a reservation for noon, hoping she'd be free. I sent her a text, "Hey love, any chance you're free for a lunch date today? Thought we could try that new spot, Guard and Grace." Minutes later, she replied, "Sorry, swamped with meetings today." Rain check? Disappointed but understanding, I decided to surprise her at her office with her favorite takeout. I picked up her preferred sushi rolls and headed to her workplace. Upon arrival, her assistant looked puzzled. "Is Laura in?" "Thought I'd drop off some lunch," I said with a smile. The assistant hesitated. She left about 20 minutes ago. Mentioned a lunch meeting." My heart skipped a beat. "Did she say where?" "Not specifically, just that it was downtown." A knot formed in my stomach. Trying to dismiss the unease, I decided to head to Guard and Grace, thinking perhaps her meeting was there. The restaurant was bustling when I arrived. Approaching the host, I inquired about a reservation under Laura's name. The host scanned the list. "Yes, Mrs. Thompson is here. Shall I show you to her table?" Thompson was Laura's maiden name, one she occasionally used professionally. My pulse quickened. Composing myself, I nodded. "Actually, could you do me a favor? Send a bottle of your best champagne to her table, and include this." I handed him my lawyer's business card. The host's eyes widened slightly but nodded. "Of course, sir." I stepped aside, positioning myself near the bar where I had a clear view of the dining area. It didn't take long to spot Laura. She was seated near the window, laughing at something her companion said. The man was well-dressed, leaning in closer than what I'd consider appropriate. Their familiarity was evident. Moments later, I watched as the waiter approached their table, presenting the champagne and the card. Laura's expression shifted from amusement to shock as she read the card. She scanned the room, her eyes locking onto mine. For a moment, time stood still. Then, she hastily gathered her things and stood up, leaving the man bewildered. I exited the restaurant, my mind racing. By the time I reached my car, Laura was calling. I let it ring. The betrayal was too fresh, too raw. I needed time to process. That evening, after ensuring our children were settled at my parents' house, Laura and I sat down for a conversation that would redefine our marriage. She admitted to the affair, citing feelings of neglect due to our busy lives and lack of communication. While her reasons provided context, they didn't justify the betrayal. We decided to seek counseling, both individually and as a couple. The road to rebuilding trust was arduous, filled with pain, anger, and moments of doubt. But through open communication, therapy, and a mutual commitment to our family, we began to heal. It's been 2 years since that fateful day. Our marriage isn't perfect, but it's stronger. We've learned the importance of prioritizing each other, of checking in, and of addressing issues before they fester. Betrayal left scars, but with time and effort, we've turned them into reminders of our resilience and love. Laura and I were doing the whole therapy thing. Weekly sessions, sometimes together, sometimes apart. She cried a lot. I sat there, mostly numb. I wanted to believe in the process. I wanted to believe that maybe, just maybe, this wasn't the end of everything we built. But something kept tugging at me. A feeling. Not just anger, deeper than that. Unease. There was something she wasn't telling me. I knew her too well. Her tells. Her pauses. The way she avoided looking me in the eyes sometimes when I asked her direct questions. So I did what I never thought I'd do, I started digging. I knew the guy from the restaurant. I never said it before, but I recognized him the second I saw him. His name is Derek. He was the regional sales director for a company Laura's firm worked with. We'd met at a company party maybe 2 years ago. Shook hands, made small talk, had a beer. Never gave him much thought. But now? He was all I could think about. I started checking Laura's phone records. Not just texts, but call logs. Late night calls, midday calls, even a few short ones right after therapy sessions. I confronted her. She denied it at first, said they were just wrapping up loose ends at work. Loose ends, I repeated. You mean like your underwear? That shut her up fast. She broke down again. Said she never stopped the affair. Said she tried, but he made her feel wanted. Said with me, it felt like being roommates. Like everything was just about the kids or bills or grocery lists. That one hurt more than the cheating. I told her to pack a bag and go. Not forever. I didn't even know what I wanted at that moment. But I needed space. She left that night and went to stay at her sister's. The house felt like a tomb without her. Empty halls, silent dinners. I hated it. But I hated her more in that moment. A few weeks went by. We were still going to therapy, but now it felt forced. Performative. Like a dance we both knew the steps to, but didn't care about the music. Then something happened I didn't expect. Derek's wife showed up at my door. I didn't even know he was married. She looked exhausted, eyes sunken, like someone who hadn't slept properly in weeks. She introduced herself, Maya, and said she found my address through a shared contact in Laura's firm. She handed me a manila folder full of printouts. Emails. Screenshots. Hotel receipts. Photos. They had been together for over a year. And not just secretly hooking up. They traveled together. Vegas. Miami. Even a weekend in Paris when Laura claimed she was on a company retreat. I couldn't speak. I just stared at the photos, flipping one after another. There was one where he was brushing her hair back while she laughed over a glass of wine on a balcony. It looked so damn intimate. Not like a fling. Like a relationship. Maya sat there silently while I read. Then she said something I'll never forget. He told me he was divorcing me because he found someone who understood him. Your wife. I asked her what she wanted from me. I want you to help me burn their little world down, she said without blinking. I didn't say yes. But I didn't say no either. We started talking. Planning. Sharing more information. Laura and Derek were still seeing each other, sneaking around, using fake calendar entries and burner phones. Maya hired a private investigator. I gave her some money for it. Felt dirty doing it, but I needed the truth laid out in black and white. No more guessing. The PI was good. Too good. He got everything. Photos. Recordings. GPS tracking logs. He even had video of them walking into a hotel room in Chicago. I couldn't believe how calm Maya was when she watched the footage. I felt rage boiling up. And the worst part? I still loved Laura. Somewhere inside me, I still wanted to believe she'd come home, say she made a mistake, and beg me to take her back. But every time I thought that, I saw her with him. So I did something reckless. I texted Laura, "We need to talk. Come over after work." She showed up, wearing the same perfume she always wore on special occasions. Part of me hated how I noticed that. She sat on the couch, nervous. I was calm. I pulled out a thick binder and dropped it on the table. "What is that?" she asked. "Evidence," I said. She didn't open it. She didn't have to. She knew. She started, but I cut her off. You lied. Again. You cried. You blamed me. You used our therapy sessions like a shield. She looked down. I continued, you never stopped seeing him. You just got better at hiding it. Tears again. Of course. I didn't know how to stop, she whispered. I said nothing. She looked up at me, eyes swollen. Are you going to divorce me? I don't know yet, I told her honestly. But you need to go. For good this time. And she did. But that wasn't the end of it. 2 nights later, I got a call from Maya. Derek's gone, she said. What do you mean, gone? He quit his job. Closed out our joint accounts. Disconnected his phone. He just disappeared. My stomach dropped. Maya thought he ran off with Laura. I wasn't sure. But I knew Laura hadn't shown up to work since she left the house. I started to wonder if they had actually planned this all along. If the lunches, the fake retreats, the lies, they were leading to something bigger. I tried calling Laura. No answer. Her sister hadn't seen her in a few days either. That's when I started getting emails. Anonymous ones. With photos. Of Laura and Derek. In Mexico. Holding hands on the beach. Renting a car. Laughing. One even showed them kissing under a straw umbrella. The subject line on the last one? They never planned to stay. That's where I'm at now. Still in Houston. Still waking up alone. Still wondering how a woman I loved for 13 years could just vanish from her life, from our kids, from everything. I haven't told the kids yet. They still think mom's on a business trip. I don't know how much longer I can keep that up. I don't know what the next move is. Lawyers ready to file. Maya's pressing charges for fraud and abandonment. I just want answers. But something tells me I won't get any. And that's the part that hurts the most. Weeks passed. Then a month. Then 2. I still hadn't heard from Laura. No calls. No texts. No letters. It was like she had evaporated. Maya was in the same boat. No word from Derek. Not even to check on his kids. Just gone. We kept in touch more frequently now, mostly to vent. But eventually, something strange started happening. My credit cards started showing charges I didn't recognize. At first, it was small stuff, $18 at a grocery store in Tijuana, $45 at a gas station somewhere near Guadalajara. But then it escalated. A hotel charge for $1,200. A plane ticket booked under my name, flying out of Mexico and into Panama. I called the bank, furious. They started a fraud investigation. A week later, they confirmed it, someone had cloned my identity. Not just my card. My whole identity. Guess who the investigators found behind it? Laura. She was using my social security number, opening new accounts, even trying to reroute part of my consulting payments. My own wife. The woman I trusted with everything. Turns out, Derek was running out of money. He had quit his job before even making a clean break from Maya. He had assumed Laura's money would float them both. When that didn't happen, they started getting desperate. Laura used everything she remembered from our joint bank logins and tax files to build a whole system around my name. They were basically living off of my credit, draining me from 1,000 miles away. But that wasn't the twist that gutted me. The real twist came one morning when I opened the mailbox and found a legal document addressed to me. It was from Laura. She had filed for custody of our kids. She was suing me for full custody from another country. My hands shook. I called my lawyer immediately. He told me not to panic, that there was no way she could get it. Not from abroad. Not with her record. Not after abandoning them for months. Still, it made me sick. Not because I thought she'd win. But because she had the nerve to even try. After everything she did. After leaving. Lying. Stealing. And now she wanted to play mom again? The court hearing was scheduled, even though it was mostly a formality. Laura never showed. Her lawyer withdrew. Apparently, she had stopped responding to his emails too. It was all noise, a distraction. But it did something to me. It pushed me into a corner I didn't think I'd ever have to crawl out of. I started drinking. Not blackouts. Not violent. But enough to dull things. It became part of my routine. Glass of bourbon after the kids were asleep. Then 2. Then maybe 3. I told myself I deserved it. That I was holding it together, running the business, raising 2 kids alone. But I was slipping. And I knew it. One night, Maya showed up. She had a bag of groceries, said she figured I wasn't eating well. She was right. I was living on takeout and bad decisions. We sat on the couch. Talked about everything. I told her about the drinking. She didn't judge. Just sat closer. And then, out of nowhere, she kissed me. It wasn't passionate. More like, broken. 2 people in the same burning building, clinging to anything that didn't feel like fire. We didn't sleep together that night. But we didn't exactly part as friends either. A week later, she asked if we could try something. Not dating. Not labels. Just figuring it out together. I wanted to say no. I knew it was messy. Complicated. But I also hadn't felt warmth in so long. Not since before Laura started checking out of our marriage. So I said yes. It felt good, at first. Even easy. The kids liked her. She was kind, patient, and she knew what it felt like to be left behind. We didn't talk much about Laura or Derek. But the ghosts were always there. In the background. Quiet, but always watching. Then came another twist. An email. From a private investigator in Panama. A different guy one Maya had apparently hired before all this began. He said he had information and wanted to talk. We got on a call. His voice was low, cautious. I'd been tracking Derek, he said. But not for Maya. For another client. What? I asked. Who? He hesitated. Someone who believed Derek scammed them too. A woman in Buenos Aires. She wired him money, $80,000. Laura? I asked, but he said no. Different woman. Different story. Apparently, Derek had done this before. Multiple times. He'd sweep women off their feet, pretend he was leaving his wife, travel with them, convince them he was in love, and then vanish with their money. Laura was just his next mark. The PI sent photos. Derek at a hotel with another woman. Same look. Same hand on the small of her back. Same fake smile. It hit me like a freight train. Laura didn't run with Derek. She got played. Again. Suddenly, I wasn't angry anymore. I was disgusted. Derek wasn't a rival. He was a parasite. And Laura, she wasn't innocent, no, but she was collateral damage now. She thought she was building a new life. Instead, she was just the next name on his list. Maya took it harder than I did. She had believed Derek was capable of love once. Now she realized he was just a professional con artist. I don't know where Laura is now. Last I heard, she was still in Panama. No passport. No money. She sent me one email. Short. Just 2 sentences. I'm sorry. I made a mistake. I didn't reply. I still don't know how this ends. I don't even know if it does end. Maybe it just keeps going. A string of broken trust, therapy bills, custody papers, and silent nights. But one thing's for sure. I'll never look at lunch dates the same again. Maya and I had been in a kind of limbo for months. Not exactly together, but emotionally entangled. The kids were adjusting. Life was grinding forward. But something in me still hadn't settled. There was an itch I couldn't reach. A story that hadn't finished writing itself. And then, one Sunday morning, the doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone. I opened the door, half-dressed, coffee in hand. It was Laura. She looked destroyed. Thin. Pale. Clothes wrinkled. Hair pulled back with a plastic clip. She smelled like airport terminals and desperation. "Can I come in?" she asked, voice barely above a whisper. I didn't say anything. Just stepped aside. She walked into the living room like it was a museum of a life she used to know. Her eyes lingered on the kids' drawings, the family photo still hanging in the hallway, the folded laundry on the arm of the couch. Then she turned to me. "I messed everything up," she said. "I know that." I didn't answer. She sat down, hands shaking. "Derek left me. Took the last of our cash and disappeared. I've been sleeping in hostels. Selling jewelry. I finally got my passport reissued and caught a flight back last night." "What do you want, Laura?" I asked flatly. She looked up. "I want to make things right." And just like that, I snapped. "You want to make things right?" I was yelling now, chest heaving. "You lied to me for over a year. You used our therapy to hide your affair. You tried to steal our kids. You emptied our accounts. You used my name to live a fantasy, and now you want to waltz back in like it's a sitcom reset?" Tears streamed down her face. "I was lost," she choked out. "He made me feel seen." "You were seen, Laura. By me. For years. I stayed. I supported your job, your promotions, your late nights. I raised our kids while you played businesswoman of the year. And the second someone paid you a little flattery, you sold out everything." We were both crying now. The kids came downstairs, sensing something was wrong. I told them to go to their rooms. Maya showed up minutes later, letting herself in with the spare key. She saw Laura and stopped cold. Laura looked at her, and something dark crossed her face. "You moved on already," she hissed. "With her?" Maya didn't flinch. "You left. You weren't thinking about your family when you were sipping cocktails in Panama." Laura lunged. "You don't get to act like you're the saint in all this." That's when I stepped between them. "Enough," I said. "This ends now." Everyone froze. I turned to Laura. "You will not fight in front of our children. You don't get to come back and bring more damage. You left wreckage behind, and I've spent months cleaning it up." She sank to her knees, sobbing. "I thought he loved me. I thought I could be someone else with him." "You were someone else," I said. "Just not someone I recognize." There was silence. Then, Maya spoke, calm and firm. "Maybe you didn't realize it, but you broke more than your marriage. You broke trust. You broke your family." Laura whispered, "I know. We didn't press charges. I couldn't do that to the mother of my kids. But I told her she couldn't stay. I'd help her get a temporary place and make sure she had food, but we were done." The kids cried when they saw her leave again. I had to lie. Say she needed time to get better. That she still loved them. A few weeks later, I got a letter in the mail. Handwritten. "I don't expect forgiveness," it read. "But I need you to know. I never stopped loving you. I just stopped loving myself. It wrecked me. Maya and I didn't last. We were both trying to build something on top of a battlefield. We tried to keep it casual, but it became clear we were just filling voids that never truly closed. So now it's just me and the kids. I still go to therapy. I still wake up some mornings expecting to see her at the kitchen table, sipping her awful chamomile tea. And when I don't, I feel a strange mix of grief and peace. People ask me if I'd take her back if she changed. If she healed. The truth is, I don't know. I don't hate her anymore. But I can't trust her either. And maybe that's what betrayal really leaves behind, not just pain, but uncertainty. There's no dramatic conclusion. No perfect closure. Just me, picking up the pieces. Trying to be a good father. Trying to be whole again. If there's a lesson, it's this: love is only as strong as the honesty holding it up. And once that breaks, sometimes no amount of apologies can put it back. I'm still standing. A little more bitter. A little more guarded. But standing. And maybe that's enough for now.